What's up, everybody? It is Matt Modi with OddsJam, and for this video, talking Elite Eight matchup between Kansas and Miami. So this is the first game of the two Elite Eight matchups played on Sunday. As you can see here, Kansas, as the only remaining seed left in the tournament, is pretty decently favored. Minus 283 on the OddsJam perfect line, money line. Miami's plus 240. Which makes sense in general when you look at just the seeding. Kansas is the one seed. They're top 5 in KenPom, playing Miami, who, even with their run in the tournament, is still only 35th in KenPom. But, I don't really think you can count out Miami in this game. They had two back-to-back pretty impressive victories. I guess 3 if you count the USC one, which you should. So their run in the tournament so far, they beat USC in round 1, close game. They pretty much dominated Auburn and that talented team in the second round. And then in the Sweet 16, they beat Iowa State pretty handedly. Close in the first half. They made their run in the second half. Iowa State came back. I think closest they got was to 5, and then Miami went on the run again, and the game was never really in doubt. Led by Isaiah Wong and McCluskey, Miami has 2 legit scorers, and the one thing they did well all season, the regular season before the tournament, was they played good on offense. They played well on offense. So they have the 18th ranked offense in the nation, which isn't as good as Kansas, obviously, isn't as good as the top teams, but it's not bad. And the MO with Miami all year was that they're inconsistent, right? They beat Duke in North Carolina in the span of 8 days, and then they followed that up with some pretty gross losses. So Miami always had the talent. Jim Larinaga is a good coach, so if they could just put it together, they could make a run, and that's exactly what happened in this tournament. So I have faith in Miami not to get blown out in this matchup. Looking at the Kansas side, their last 2 victories over pretty good teams in Creighton and Providence, both single-digit victories, but both never really felt like they were in doubt. Against Creighton, I know Creighton pulled it to 1 with a little over a minute left, but Kansas immediately went on a 5-6-0 run in the game, and then the game was over from there. So despite the score getting close, it never really felt like Kansas was out of it. Led by Agbaji, who is a stud, and then Remy Martin, who's really come on of late. Kansas is probably one of the most talented teams left, obviously, looking at Duke, but one of the most talented teams left. And then last game against Providence, kind of a similar story. Kansas went up huge in the first half with great defense. Providence just could not score. And then in the second half, Providence made a little bit of a run. They made it close, but it never really felt like Kansas was out of it. Even as Providence was making their run, Kansas always felt like they were in control. And one impressive part about Kansas's victory was they did it with Agbaji having a terrible game. He didn't make a 3-point shot. He had a single point digit total. His point total was in the single digits, and they still won. And they won because Remy Martin was awesome. He had over 20 points, close to 30, and he played really well. So Miami, they do have the 2 studs, like I said, Isaiah Wong and McCluskey, to keep up with Kansas. So I don't really see a money line play here. There's no value on the Miami money line, and if I were to recommend just taking a money line, I wouldn't recommend Kansas. The odds are just too steep. But if you want to throw something on Caesar Sportsbook or MGM, because those have the best odds on the Miami money line, I don't think that's a terrible bet. Where I do have a bet that I like is looking at the spread. So right now, Kansas is pretty much locked in on 6-point favorites. But using OddsJam, you can find them at 6.5. Miami plus 6.5 on BetMGM and WinBet. So I like Miami to cover in this game. Kansas, I could see it being a similar game where it never really feels like the game's in doubt, but Kansas only wins by 6 or less. I could see Miami making a run late. I could also see Miami winning this game outright. I'm not predicting it. I do think Kansas does win straight up, but I do really like Miami to win outright. Kansas to win outright, Miami to cover. So that's going to be my official prediction for the spread. I'm going to go ahead and take Miami plus 6.5. I'm going to lock this in on BetMGM, a partner of OddsJam. If you're not signed up, definitely make sure to do so. That's going to be my $100 bet, Miami plus 6.5. Looking at the total points, I didn't really see a play here. It's at a pretty high total of 147.5. Considering how good these two offenses are, I would have guessed it would go over, but it's a pretty high total, and the value is actually towards the under. So to me, that screams a no play on the total. So I'll just stick with the Miami plus 6.5. And that's all I got for you. So let me know what you think. You can hit me up on my Twitter handle below. You can also comment on the video, provide your analysis that way. Other than that, would appreciate a like on the video, subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel. But that is all I got for you. So happy betting, happy watching, and good luck.